Hi, you're probably wondering, Harry, what are you doing at a dinner table? Well, I thought it's time that the experience that I've gotten in the acting industry in these past 6 years that I've been a professional actor, I thought I would share some tips, some guidelines of what you can expect in the industry and also what it takes to be a full-time actor. Because trust me, guys, I chose one of the well, it's my passion and it's my dream, but I chose one of the hardest professions in the world to make a living in. And it wasn't it's not always going to be sunshine and roses. But if you're like me and you love it, it's a passion, it's a dream. You want to be the next Clint Eastwood or Ben Affleck, just random names that popped into my head now, or you want to be the next Meryl Streep, or you want to be the next Kristen Bell, for instance, then hopefully my advice can help you. No, because this is a question I've gotten a lot from my some of my fellow actors that I've met at auditions over the years. And how do you choose the correct agency? Where do you start? And I got that biggest and best piece of advice from my own agent that I've been with for the past 6 years, iArtist Management. And Charlene told me one time there's two key things you look for in any agency. The agency itself has to exist for at least 5 years or longer. That's number one. Number two would be the person, the CEO, the chief in charge, that person's experience has to be at least 9, 10 years in the industry, either as an agent or an actor or actress themselves. Because if you don't go look for an agency that has the two things that I mentioned now, you can just forget about not being what's the nicest way to put this now? Not being screwed over when it comes to payouts and payments and commission and all of that technical stuff. We will get to in another video. So now you're probably wondering, Harry, but how do let's say I want to choose an agency, how do I know what to put on my CV when I send in my email or I send in my application to the agency? And that's really easy, guys. I'm going to put it the fastest way I know how. You put everything: singing, acting, dancing, performing arts, drama, anything that has to do with acting or singing or dancing, you put on your CV. Get yourself a nice set of headshots and professional photos, and you send them into the nearest agency, and then you hold your fingers and we go from there. Now, if there's any more questions, I will drop my email at the end of this video. You can send me an email and I will try and answer all the other questions you might have about this introductory video as we go along, because we still have a lot of info to get through. Now, you have chosen an agency. Now you're going to your first meeting with your agent, potential agent. That's the next point. First meeting with agent or agency. Now, what do you expect? How do you dress? What is the meeting going to be about? And that's very easy, guys. So basically, you wear what you feel comfortable in. And the most important part when you're on your way to your meeting with your first meeting with your agent, just keep them updated if you might be late, might be running late. And once you are at the meeting, introduce yourself, be polite. And the most important thing you also have to remember is make sure you are direct with your agent. In other words, tell them in which direction you want your career to go. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, do you want to do it full time? Do you want to do it part time? And the other important part also is: do you just want to be an extra? Do you want to be a featured extra? Do you want to do supporting lead roles? Do you want to do lead roles? That's the questions you got to ask yourself. And by the time you are at that meeting, you already should have an idea of, okay, I'll take myself as an example. When I had my first meeting with my agent Charlene, when I joined up with iArtist, I immediately told Charlene, this is what I want to do. this is the direction I want to go in, and I want to do featured extra, supporting lead, and lead roles, guys. And the other important piece of advice I want to give you guys before we get into the second last part of this video is always remember that sometimes you are going to go to auditions and you're not always going to go all the way, because sometimes you might go first audition, callback audition, you might not get the role, or in some cases you might go audition, second audition, wardrobe, and you might get cut at the last minute. But once again, we will get to that in another video. Now, moving on to the second last part of the video. You heard me say extra, featured extra, supporting lead. Now, I know there's going to be some people that are going to be like, Harry, what do you mean? We are not stupid. We know what the roles mean. Yes, I know, but there are some first timers or some young kids or teenagers who are going to go out of school next year, or they went out of school in 2022 and now they want to get into the industry, and they might not understand the terminology. So you're going to write down extra, featured extra, supporting lead, and lead. And then you're going to write what I'm going to explain to you now. So let's start at the bottom. So extra is basically just what it says, extra. It's that role that they use to usually like fill a space in a scene, or say the leads and the supporting leads have a fight scene, or they're in a restaurant drinking a cup of coffee or something. That's the people that's in the background or close to them that basically make up the scene and make sure the scene runs smoothly. That's what an extra's role is. And sometimes you might get lucky, you might get noticed, and the director or the producer might say, okay, we want you in this scene with Tom Cruise, or we want you in this scene with Pierce Brosnan, for instance. There's a massive amount of possibility for extras. Now, the next role or definition you're going to write down is featured extra. Now, featured extra is basically a step up from a normal extra. So the featured extra can be like it's like a thing where you get noticed, and then if you do your job really well, you get to do an actual scene with one of the leads or the supporting leads in, whether it be a movie, a TV series, an advert. You are that lucky person that gets to do a scene with the supporting lead and the leads. So, and you get looked after much more better, or very well. You get looked after very well when you're a featured extra. Moving on to the supporting lead. So the next line you're going to write down is supporting lead. Now, supporting lead is a step up from featured extra. Now, supporting lead you can call it perks if you want to. Supporting lead comes with, sometimes you get to share a trailer with your fellow supporting leads. You get coffee brought to you. You get a snack or some food or something brought to you if you guys have to go shoot immediately after or just before lunch or something. Then they bring the stuff to your trailer as you're getting dressed, and you eat, you drink, and then you're off to set, or quickly to hair and makeup, and then you're off to set. So that's what I'm saying. Supporting lead, definitely very, very cool. Now the last part, and that's lead. Lead is basically the most important person on set, besides the director, the producer, and in the advert scenario, the client. The lead is the most important person on the set. Now, he sometimes has his own trailer, or he has his own trailer, and sometimes he even has his own personal assistant that brings him his coffee or his snack or his lunch or his dinner or something. That's the one kind of lead that you get. And on the other hand, you also get the lead, which is like the nice person that mingles with the supporting lead and the featured extras, and you get to chat a couple of words with them, and so that's the nice lead that you get. And now we come to the very last part, or the very last section of this introductory video, And that's the two different types of castings you get. Now, I'm going to run through them rather quickly, but you will get an idea of what they are. So you can write point 1 would be open casting. Now, an open casting basically explains itself, but I'm just going to go into a tiny little bit of detail. So an open casting is basically sometimes you get a thing from, you get like an SMS or a WhatsApp or an email from your agent that says, hey, there's a casting for Mickey Mouse, for instance. They need you to be there. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. Then you go, but you don't always know the wardrobe, you don't always know the storyline, you don't always know the brief if it's an advert, just to get like an idea of what you have to do and how you have to prepare and whatever. And that's an open casting, and an open casting is so many people, and you don't get that individual attention that you get with our next point we're going to be discussing, request casting. Now, a request casting is basically one of those things where if you have a reputable agency like the one I'm represented by, iArtist Management, you get like a casting director that they send you, they ask your agent for photos of you, and depending on what kind of character they're looking for, say they're looking for a comical character, or say they're looking for just a guy to like be funny, for instance, then they look at your photos and like, oh yeah, no, I like Harry, and then they send a request casting to my agent, and they say, we want to see Harry for this role, he's going to play the funny uncle in the Chicken Licken ad, and that's the way request casting works. A request casting is more exclusive and you get more individual attention, but it's also because the director or the casting studio saw something in your photos and they saw something that's like, man, we just got to have this guy. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you guys have any questions, please send me an email. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen right about now, and then email me and I will try and respond to the questions that you guys might have about this introductory video further through email and stuff. So I want to say thank you guys for watching this video, and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if this video gets enough hits and thumbs ups, I will do a follow-up video. So until next time, Harry, ow!